It doesn't happen too often. Moment in history. I mean, you have to be there to believe it. But for once, I'm going to be doing a video of moment in history. Watch this. You're not going to believe what's happening. I even got to have the sun shining, the spotlight. This is not going to happen. This doesn't happen. Here we go. Look at this. So, what were you telling me?
I was just saying the last time that I saw you, because I try to be nice whenever I can be, I walked past you and you yelled at me to come and chat with you, and I said, Charlie can't talk or something like that, and I don't think that was the standard of politeness that I expect of myself, so I wanted to apologize to you.
A redhead apologize. You don't see this too often.
Oh, I try to do that whenever I do anything wrong.
I
haven't seen you for a couple of months, so I know. Man, I need to.
Okay.
I saw you there, so.
As Scottish, I accept your apology.
No, that is weird, because I mean you were literally supposed to hold a grudge for 600 to 700 years, I think.
Yeah, no, it's longer than that. Trust me. Me mother, she's worse.
I was talking to a friend who's Scottish background, and they actually had at their like a family get together, and I think they do like a curse of the Campbells or something. So
Let's try that again. George Street Middle School.
Yes.
That was then the abortion clinic right beside it.
Yep.
So-called doctor Sarah Davidson bought it, and said she was going to change that into a rooming house for people not on the recovery program, people that's on crystal meth, right beside the school.
Again, not my understanding of what they're supposed to be on treatment when they're in there. Was my understanding?
No, just
that. Again,
a place to go beside the school.
It's my take is still there. Those folks are walking around downtown Fredericton anyway, and I would rather they have a stable place to live than not. And I think that would be less of having a place you can go indoors is not next to the school, outdoors is next to the school. So I'm still in the same position on it.
See, the redhead hasn't changed, but you understand what crystal meth is? I talked to the premier yesterday, and I told them about educating the kids. Well, not saying say no to drugs, have signs, like I told you before. They should say no to crystal meth.
I totally agree. I mean, the problem with the war on drugs was that if you try and tell people that weed is the same as crystal meth, everyone who knows anything about either weed or crystal meth just knows you're being an idiot, because it's obviously not true. But it's like saying that having a beer is obviously, yes, people who drink, people who smoke weed can go on to become addicted to other things, but that's usually a problem caused by mental health issues or addiction issues, not by the substance itself, because clearly lots of people can have a couple of drinks, lots of people can have a couple of gummies or whatever, it doesn't bother them. So the crystal meth and some of the other drugs, the new designer drugs that are circulating, are a huge problem. And we're seeing that across North America. It's causing the spike in homelessness that we're seeing here in the province.
But these people ont jamais eu une botte dans le chou. You know what that means?
I have no idea.
I thought
Je suis bilingue, mais pas plein
une bonne botte dans le chou.
But
you had lots of butt dans le chou, but on social media.
Oh, okay.
And butt don't chew. Chew. You know what chew? Okay, you know now. But the butt don't chew. But these people are never had that. And next thing you know, that like under the Mental Health Act, Section 10, they know they can't be touched.
Yep.
And they go on the street, and the police, they disrupt restaurants, everything, people outside, and they look at the police and say, we have the law on our side. We can't be touched. But if you had 3-4 beers, what? Right in jail. And they give you a beating before you get in that cell. So
I always liked it personally. I always like this. I got colleagues whose job it is to handle this stuff, but I don't think it would be speaking out of turn to say I always like the British system, where they have pretty much it's you can be on whatever you want to be on and drunk as long as you're not creating a nuisance. It's a very British kind of solution, right? Like if you're causing a problem, it doesn't matter if you're stone cold sober or wasted on 15 different things. It's the disruption that's the problem. What you put into your body, your issue. Obviously, it doesn't break the law, but what the issue is how are you behaving in public? And if you're behaving in public in a way that frightens people or intimidates them or causes stress, then that's something that
So as Minister of Education, is it time to educate our kids?
We've
say, because once you take, it's not like us. We were at a party. We were tired. We took some bennies. We took some acid. We took some magic mushroom. Don't say no. Anyway, but to keep awake, to stay awake. You play in a rock band, and that's the way it was. But now, have a vape of meth to keep awake. And then by Wednesday, you need more, and then you're done.
And then a month later, your teeth are starting to fall out.
And you lose your friends, family, you lose everything. Isn't that something that this thing that really the government, including Minister of Health, should really really say, okay, kids, you must all hear about the blogger, the idiot Charles LeBlanc. We're going to see a couple of videos that he took of people in crystal meth. You don't want to be like that. This is what it does.
So after we talked about
I'll just be sarcastic here.
no, but it's so first off, most of the people who end up by falling into the trap of crystal meth, like, they usually have got some other issues, because if you're working a regular job, you are unlikely to decide, I'm going to try crystal meth today, because it's generally known to be such an evil substance. But back to your question, right? In the schools, we do have those anti-drug programs, and
anti-crystal meth.
But meth and fentanyl are things that they focus, because those are sort of the ones that are definitely getting the most attention for being dangerous the last few years. So, but
don't we go advertisement blitz? Just.
Well, that wouldn't be the schools, right? Because that's the only thing the schools we would do is you have posters and you have things that are actually taught in school. Anything else would be public health and I don't disagree. I mean, it's we're seeing the problem right now with
across Canada,
and it ends up by concentrating in the cities because people come to access shelter services, and which makes sense because they've wrecked their lives and they need to and they don't want to die. So no matter how much of your brain you fried with the meth, you're still going to be trying to meet those basic needs and make sure you can stay warm and get some food into you occasionally.
I suggested the premier yesterday. We sat down, cabinet shuffle, and I said, well, Dominic Cardy, maybe he likes Ukraine too much. Not talk about Crystal. I was pissed off the Scottish side. Okay, I apologize to have you kick out all of the cabinet, but no, shuffle. Sorry, see, I had to blow it. Ukraine, what's going on? I mean, we know what's going on, but I mean, that's your pet peeve. Well, crystal meth should be more important than Ukraine, but here we go.
No, well, I think but these are linked problems, right? We've got a society that's becoming more and more open to either terrible ideas. We've got politicians in the States endorsing Vladimir Putin, and we've got the issues. There are so many different problems we're facing right now. I don't think you have to say that I'm in favor. I think one is a problem and one isn't. These are all problems, and they're all hitting us at the same time. We've got a massive problem with declining faith in institutions at the elite level, people falling into the drug trap that we just talked about, evil governments in China and Russia that are busy trying to offer a way to run the world that would mean that you would be in jail, right?
Yeah,
There's no possibility. No, those countries, you are not allowed to do this. Similarly, I wouldn't be able to express my thoughts on things.
No, you have been shot one time ago.
So you end up with, I think
you're
these are all
happy
problems.
you have no kids and I got no kids. I mean, what would you, do you have some? I don't know. Anyway, you've been around the world. No, don't answer that. But the bottom line, we don't want to be you like a second Herschel Walker.
I hope that is the only time I'm ever compared to Herschel Walker.
But can you imagine bring up a kid these days, today's world? I mean, it's
one of the things that weighs on me all the time with my job is just the responsibility of making sure that these kids are ready for a world that is so unlike the one that we grew up having to deal with, both in terms of the security that Canada has always enjoyed, but is really dropping away. I mean, we've got the possibility of serious unrest in our neighbor, which is something that we never had to worry about that when we were kids.
No, but the kids now, plus it's bad enough they got to survive the bullying on social media.
Yeah, well, that's another. I mean, I think if there was the single biggest thing, and that kind of links some of the drug conversations, Russia and other things, is dealing with social media, which no one has really figured out how to handle yet, partly because we're all going through the same experiment as well, right? Yeah. Like the time we've known each other, social media has gone from something where people shared cat photos and waited 5 minutes for a 2-second video to download, to where, like you said, you've got governments spreading misinformation intentionally, people just being mean to each other, and then in some cases governments taking people being mean to each other and then amplifying that because they recognize it causes social disruption.
And we know when I was arrested, 2008 and all that, with the police, the battle and all that, even police, they didn't know what to do, And I can tell you, it's so bad, and I'll swear, just this once, it's so fucking bad. I was so fucking mad, and I'll swear. I just found this a couple of days ago. They turn around, my uncle died, and I wrote something in the comment, funeral home, remember cooked, wasn't posted. At the end, they called my aunt and said, this is what Charles wrote. I said, oh, did it went through? And they said, they stopped.